Hello.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Hey, okay, welcome everybody to the Commentary Zone Noontime Edition. As you enter the room, please don't forget to give us a little thumbs up. We really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel and like our content, please don't forget to hit subscribe and the notification bell so that you can hang out with us whenever we put out new content. Okay, on the docket today, we have Real Housewives of Potomac and the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. First up, Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 6, Episode 15, Lost at Sea. Lord.
So until the last what 10 minutes, this was a nothing burger for me. Excuse me.
Yeah. I mean, basically, we pick up at the ending of the dinner last week. And it was I feel a little uncomfortable with G. Whenever they get in close parameters, like on the bus back to the house after dinner, he was talking about his wee wee and getting a piece of ass. And he doesn't know them like that to be that comfortable. And isn't this what we criticize Ashley's husband for? Uh,
Yes.
and she got caught out there by saying that her husband would never do something like that when he's clearly done something like that. But
Right.
anyway, whatever. So we pick up with that. They get back to the house. Giselle and Robin finally find a hotel, and they are packing up. Chris and Candace have an interesting conversation where he's trying to counsel her, trying to find a better path forward for her, and she kind of promises that she's done for the weekend.
I like how she stipulated for the weekend though. Like
Really,
just so you know, for the weekend.
at least it's something.
Right. Like you know what? With Candace, you kind of take what you can get.
Really, and I think it's good of Candace to only limit herself to the weekend because we all
Right.
know the weekend is a long shot.
Yes. And I think I think we know that she knows it's doable. So what she's doing is
Is
she's
it
like, okay,
though?
it's doable because it's only a couple days. But then she knows like, okay, Monday I can be back at it. So I only said the
Okay,
weekend.
if you say so. So we see Escala going. Is it Escala?
A scholar.
Escala going to Giselle and Robin's room, and they're packed up and they're going. They confirmed the hotel. Robin's okay to drive them. They got back to the house at midnight. So they packed up all of their stuff. It has to be pushing like 12:30, 1 o'clock. I'm estimating. So they're heading on over to this hotel. Um, and Giselle is using Mia as a bellman so that she can schlep the luggage. At some point, um, Mia comes out, and Giselle is like, the host doesn't care about us. Da 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 da. Robin is just like, she makes a valid point. Like, I don't want to share a bathroom with men that I don't know,
Right.
and it's downstairs and we're upstairs. Like, how do we do it? Well, you go fully clothed and bring all your stuff with you and do what you have to do, and when you finish your shower, you put on your clothes in the bathroom and come out. There's a way around it. But is it inconvenient? Yes. Is it inconvenient for Giselle with the broken toe? Yes. Are they making a lot of it? Yeah. But would I want to do it? No, I
Nope.
would go to the
No.
hotel. I would
I
go to
think
the
it's,
hotel.
I think the simple fact is that they came last minute.
Mm-hmm.
And my whole thing is this: you know you're coming last minute. Why not ask like, hey, like we're coming. Are there suitable accommodations as I have a broken toe? Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I would have approached it because what that tells you is like, okay, she could have told you what the room looked like, or even like she could even take a picture of the room and let you know the layout. That way, you could have made an informed decision before you came.
But here's the thing, Wendy didn't assign rooms. She just let whoever came, whenever they came, go pick a room.
Right. But I'm thinking they picked rooms when they got there. So once Robin and Giselle decided they were coming, Wendy could have said like, "Oh, by the way, this is the only room we have left."
But didn't Giselle send in the group text?
She wasn't coming.
I felt like, yeah, I felt like we weren't welcome.
Right,
And
but then
then
they weren't
Robin
coming.
followed up.
Yeah, so then when once they decided they were okay, we're gonna backtrack off of that and we're gonna go. They should have called Wendy like, "Hey, Wendy, we've had a change of heart. We're coming. Do you have room for us?" I would just love it. I would assume Wendy would have planned for us not to be there, and I would have asked like, "Hey, we're gonna come. Do you have room for us?" At that point, Wendy could have just said, "Hey, this is what we have left."
But they didn't do that.
Correct. So that's why I understand their point. I can understand them being not comfortable, but at the end of the day, you did it to yourself.
Yeah. Um, Wendy and Eddie, I think, are looking through the window, seeing all this taking place. And Wendy says, I feel like they're trying to make a moment by leaving in the middle of the night. Correct assumption. Or
Yes.
at least that's what I thought.
I mean, what's one or two what's one or two nights of being uncomfortable?
Hmm, true.
That's just the way I
But,
look at it. I'm not driving half an hour away, and who's to say they drove a half an hour? Because we never saw the hotel.
well,
They could have
quite
been right next door.
frankly, they should have stuck to their guns and not come.
Mhm.
All right. So the next day, assorted parents are checking on their kids. Karen is checking in with Ray for his ETA. He's on the way. Mia and G are downstairs, and she's complaining about not having a chef, not having housekeeping, not having turn down service, and not having a valet. Where are you? You're at a private house.
I'm not gonna lie. I was with her on the chef.
It's it. Remember,
I'm with her on the chef. The
but
chef part, I'm with her.
right, but are we going to have a full-time chef? Like this production team does not, they don't give this budget to this show. I'm just going to say that. They don't appropriate enough budget to this show for those extravagances. And if I was in Wendy's position hosting this, I would be mindful of everything I'm pulling out of my pocket for this show, for this group. Having a full-time chef costs money.
Mhm.
Mm, let's see. She has to go over what happened last night to G because he, I guess, don't remember none of it. They check in with their kids, and mom seems to be doing well. The kids are going to sleep at 2 a.m. Sounds fine to me. Um, Ashley calls home and checks on Michael, and apparently the littlest baby is got 6 hours of sleep. So that sounds like a good improvement, right? Because she was
Yes.
saying he wasn't sleeping well. Okay. Okay, so Karen meets Wendy and Eddie in the hallway upstairs, going downstairs for breakfast, I guess. And Karen says that it's typical that Giselle and Robin would do something like that, pulling out in the middle of the night. So she's not fazed by it. Gordon is cooking for him and Mia alone, and the rest are on their own. Where they have an in-house chef? Where's Chris? Like, Giselle's always saying that he cooks like, well, chicken wings, right? Well,
Mhm.
he could come downstairs and cook. Downstairs, Ashley comes down, Karen's down, Wendy's down, all of them are down there. Ashley finds out that Giselle is not there, so she decides to call Giselle. And um, that was an interesting call because, of course, they have her on speakerphone. And she says that she had a good night's sleep. Karen comes over onto the call and she asks, did you say goodbye to the host? And Giselle, it says, the host didn't speak to her. So that's the reason why she ain't saying nothing to the host. And Wendy jumps up and she goes, "You're lying." I love Wendy. Giselle should know the game by now,
Yeah.
unless she
Well,
did that
no.
on purpose. Um, Wendy just says, I did speak to you. When you arrived, I came to your room and I welcomed you. Um, Giselle says that Wendy is angry. And Wendy says that Giselle is confrontational.
I mean, when is it her feelings? It is what it is.
Both of them are not making the situation better.
Well, they're both stubborn.
Mm-hmm. Did they get over their did they get any resolve to their initial issue with regards to the rumors on Eddie?
Not really. Not from what I saw.
Okay. All right, so this is still dragging on. Ray arrives and Karen takes him aside to make him a cup of coffee and sit him down and bring him up to speed on everything that's happened. I bet you he's glad that he missed all of that mess.
You know he
Especially at the
is.
restaurant, because I think a lot of them were embarrassed by how they behaved in that restaurant.
I would be.
Mm-hmm. Um, Giselle and Robin return to the house, so they come on in and head to the kitchen. Candace comes down, um, and basically she's like, everything that happened yesterday was it stays in yesterday. She's starting fresh, as if nothing's happened.
You gotta admire that.
Okay. So when Wendy comes into the room, Giselle is there, and Wendy just does not speak to her. And just, I feel Giselle's a little hurt because she's used to everybody deferring to her.
I can go with that. She's like, why aren't you guys listening to me? That's like the vibe it gives me.
Mm-hmm. Or I feel like she doesn't feel like she's the queen bee on this trip. Like on Candace's trip, Candace, deferred to her. And on this
Hmm.
trip, Wendy's not doing it.
Of course not.
Oh,
Wendy's mad. She's definitely not.
good Lord. All right, so Ray comes into the kitchen and he greets everybody. He meets Escala and he looks for her husband to because I think this is the first time he's meeting Dre, and gives a special greeting to them. He goes around, greets everybody, goes to Giselle, and says hello to her and asks her what happened with her foot. And she goes, she broke her toe. And he said, how'd that happen? And she goes, I was playing around with your wife. And he turns to Karen and said, Karen, how did you miss the neck?
That was kind of funny. I'm sorry.
We don't hear from Ray too often, but he always has a good singer. I like it. And she took it in good fun. And in her confessional, she says that she likes Ray and she wants him to live so that she can laugh.
Mm-mm-mm.
Okay, so as Wendy mentioned during the dinner last night, today is a boat trip. They're all getting together at noon and they're going for this little sail. Boats in these housewives don't normally do well.
No. Mm-mm.
Hmm. So we get to the boat. They're on an upper deck. Toilets, bar, and food are all in lower decks.
Which I thought was good. To be completely honest.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, they're hanging out. Chris seems super, super tired, and he's just like, "I'm gonna get some sun. Basically, don't bother me." Everyone else comes up. They're talking. Downstairs at the bar, we see a scene with Escala and Robin, and I think Robin was pretty honest in her assessment. Um, And Escala had some really good probing questions to her friend. And Robin is like, she's not mad. She just says it wasn't proper planning, but it's not directed at anyone. And she did make a good point, because if she were to bring Juan, which we knew Juan wasn't ever coming, was she
Right.
supposed to sleep in that room with Giselle and Juan? It was just weird.
Exactly.
That was a good thing to point out. And Escala says, it can be awkward. And she feels that, she's friends with both people. And she thinks that a conversation needs to be had to put some sort of resolution to it. I ain't mad at her for that.
Nope. She wants. Robin seems to be all about resolving things.
You mean
And
Escala?
the scholar. I don't know why I
Yeah,
said
because
Robin.
Robin, sorry, Escala says that it's awkward and a conversation needs to be had, but
Yes,
Robin doesn't want to do it because it always winds up in a debate.
I was like, Robin's being really reasonable right now. Like, then you said Scott, like, never mind.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Um, and Escala asks her if she likes Wendy. Good question.
No, it's a really good question.
And so then you see Mia coming in, going to the bar, and she overhears this portion where, you know, Robin says, I met her a year ago and I thought that we really clicked. But now, based on what's going on now, I'm really reassessing that. And she
Hmm.
feels like now that she was wrong in her original assessment of
Right.
Wendy. And Robin says that, you know, Robin tells Escala, right? Because Escala is concerned. She's like, I like both of you. You're both my friends. And Robin tells her, look, I can't, I don't want you to feel like I don't want you to be friends with her. That's your relationship with her, which I also thought was very grown and mature. See, I like Robin with Escala. I don't like Robin with Giselle.
Right. It's a different.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say. The best I can say is a different mindset.
Mm-hmm.
It's when she's with the scholar, she's rational. And Robin seems to be more herself when she's not around Giselle. I think that's what we've all said from the beginning, though. So
Mm-hmm.
this is nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Robin needs to understand that maybe just being around Giselle all the time is not the best thing for her, because she tends to agree with Giselle without um any questions. Like, whereas a scholar, there's a dialogue, there's like a back and
Mm-hmm.
forth. With Giselle, it's like, okay, Giselle's right, which frustrates everyone else. And Karen said that in her confessional.
Yep. Yep. But remember, we saw Mia come down and go to the bar while this conversation was being had. Mia goes right back upstairs and says to Wendy, I heard that you're not the same person as you were last year. That's not what was said.
Right.
So Wendy gets upset, and I can see why she gets upset, because she's sick and tired of going over the same argument over and over again. And she goes, of course I'm not the same as I was a year ago. If you don't evolve, if you don't grow, there's something wrong with you. And she's like, well, who said that? She goes, Robin. And of course Robin and Escala are coming back upstairs, and everyone is like, Robin, what's going on? And Robin clarifies, and everyone looks at Mia, like, I think it's Karen and Giselle, and they're like, girl, we have to teach you how to play the telephone game.
That was so funny. Like, we're gonna get you together. We're gonna teach you how to do it right. I was like, like, yeah, y'all teach Mia how to do it right, because she was making all types of mistakes.
But this is not the first time that she's done it, and of
No,
course
it's
they
not.
flash back to it at the big blowout earlier in the season, where she had that infamous comment, "You did," at the dinner table, and she did it to Giselle last time. Now she's doing it to Robin. Like, girl, what are you doing? But Wendy, I did like this observation by Wendy. Wendy says, "You learn where people are in your life, and you place them." I thought that was a really good observation because I've had to do that.
I okay. I can do nothing but agree with you on this one.
Okay, so honestly, I think I like Wendy more this season than I did last season. And not because of like the major cuss out thing that she did. I think I can relate to her more this season. Last season, she made me feel stupid because everything was 4 degrees, 4 degrees, 4 degrees. But this season, I think I can relate to her more.
I think what it is, I think part of the reason is because I think she's finally at a place where she's accepting that, okay, I really don't want to be a professor. I think it took her a long time to get to that place of where she was comfortable saying out loud, like, this is no longer what I really want to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough, especially coming from, excuse me, her family and the pressure they put off for education and this and that. I mean, I felt bad for her when she was trying to tell her mom like this is not what she wants to do, and she's afraid because I think with her, since they don't have any family for support at all, it seems like I think she's always in the back of her mind like, well, if I disappoint my mom, like will she take her support away from me? Will I lose my family as well?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that played a part into it. But I think this season she just said, you know what, I'm giving my mommy makeover. Happy and Nest are here. The cakes are here. I'm just gonna do what I want to do and let the chips fall where they may. She's not
Mm-hmm.
overthinking the season. I felt really lucky she was always thinking, like
Mm-hmm.
always thinking, always conscious that she's a professor, always conscious of 4 degrees. This season she's like, you know what, I am who I am. It is what it is. And I really think starting her own candle business was a really good step for her. She stepped out and it's given her confidence that's actually coming to fruition. So now she's kind of letting loose and and she's like, it is what it is at this point. And I think she took some of the feedback she got last season to heart as well. I think
Mm-hmm.
when she watched it back and then watched the reunion and you put it all together, I think she can say like, you know what, I made some missteps.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't listen to the truth when it was presented to me. So she's she's come a long way. I'm gonna give her that. She's come a long way. And when you see actual growth in someone, especially on reality TV, it makes them more endearing to you.
Mm. Well, Escala reiterates this is uncomfortable between Robin and Wendy. And so Wendy takes the opportunity to address the room situation and say, look, I did not assign rooms. Everyone just picked their own rooms as they arrived. You know, it is what it is. And Robin says, Robin says she just didn't feel comfortable using a bathroom downstairs that the men are also using and pissing on the floor. And, call a thing, but some of these men, I guess she has not met or she just doesn't feel comfortable sharing the same facilities with them. So that is her point of view on it. And Robin also states, why are we having this conversation in front of the men? Because the men take offense to, like, well, who pissed on the floor?
Right.
I think all of them did, with the exception of Ray, because Ray just got there. Hmm. Um, the men leave and go downstairs to play cards, which I thought was really cute. Um, Ashley whips out her titties again to pump milk. Every episode we see that. Do y'all? Is it me who's only picking up on this?
I mean, I think for her it's the overflow. because I think she's doing like I guess they call it a pump and dump because I think she I think it sounds like she produces a lot of milk.
Well, she does have to pump and dump, but I'm not sure why she feels like, I don't know. I've never been pregnant, never had control of that. But like a couple of episodes, yes, I think it is part of a way to make it normalized, so that it's acceptable for people to breastfeed in, out and about. However, it's in every episode.
But you
And
remember when she was talking on the phone with Michael and she was laying down, she was laying on her side and she complained of the pain. So she must be lactating a lot.
so then why didn't she pump there? Because after that call, she went
Oh,
downstairs and she exercised.
was that before? That was after she, but that was after she pumped, right? No, she pumped on the boat, which was
Yeah,
after the gym.
yeah. I mean, unless we're missing something in editing.
Right.
No, Debbie, it's not. I'm so sick of seeing Ashley the milkmaid. Ooh, Ryan, I'm glad that she does that. I am, but editing doesn't have to put it in every
Hmm.
episode. We get it. She's lactating. We get it. Unless they're putting it in to say she's pumping and dumping because she is drinking alcohol while she has a breastfeeding infant. I don't know if they're
No, that makes sense to show that she's being a responsible parent.
covering their. Okay, so
Hmm.
let's see. The men go downstairs. I said that. So then the ladies encourage Mia and Candace to talk, and the two of them apologize to each other, and they actually state what they're apologizing for, which helps and goes a long way. You know, Candace explains that it's not so much her talking to her mom at the music video, but that Mia came at something that she is so passionate about. And she wants acceptance in this. So, when she came at her calling the video low budget, it hit a very tender, insecure spot with her. Um, and I thought that was good.
I mean, I understand that. I really do, but
Mhm.
I'm the type of person who's not going to get offended at the truth. I'm sorry. It is what it is. It wasn't a big budget production, granted, but had everything been in place, no one would have said anything. So I get what I agree with what you're saying. I totally get where Kansas is coming from,
Mhm.
but I don't get offended because it's the truth.
Right. But I think we're expecting too much from Candace to not be offended because it's the truth.
And and you and Mia just met. Y'all not friends, so most people who don't really know you aren't gonna sugarcoat anything for you. They're just gonna like flat tell you the truth. Especially someone who's like Mia.
Yeah. And then and Mia apologizes because she doesn't want to purposely
Hmm.
hurt someone's feelings. And she says, now that she knows her boundaries, she will try not to purposely cross those boundaries and hurt her moving forward. Um, then Candace admits that she didn't know about her mom. Um, and Mia tells her straight out, I would prefer that if you have to attack somebody, that you attack me. And leave my mom out of it. And she tells the whole story now. She goes, because I think Escala asked her how long her mom had been sober, and she said for 10 years, and that her mom was in prison for 8 years
Right. Which was good.
to the funeral, because and that's hard for her. And Giselle says, um, they'll let the prisoners out to attend funerals like that. And she goes, her mother declined because she didn't want to be in the church with shackles on. And that that was stunning to me. That was stunning to me. Um,
I didn't think they would do that to people. I thought they would be more accommodating because like you really can't go anywhere.
well, there are officers there with you, and she's a female, and she doesn't seem that big, you know. Couldn't they have sat like have two officers and sat next to her?
Right. That was my thinking. What I would thought they would do is they would um take all the shackles off, all that good stuff.
Hmm.
Um I would and then let have armed guards or whoever needs to be there. Or what they would do is at least take the shackles off and give her like small handcuffs or something. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Mia is the one who's exploiting her mother for this show. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. She is. She putting it all out there. I hope her mom agreed to this. My God.
I would think so. I think you have to sign a release.
But yeah, and she gives all this and she goes, her mom's sobriety is most important to her, and now everybody knows this. So we'll see who goes after this next. We'll just see.
Right. That was my thinking too. I'm like, well, they know this is a soft spot. So
Mhm.
are they going to respect her mother, or are they just going to come at her with anything they can get?
All's fair in Love and Housewives world. So the boat ride comes to the end, and they're getting off. They're disembarking, and they get back on the bus. And the bus seems to be the jump off point for a lot of things with G. They get on the bus, and Ashley is over in the corner by a window and just like catching a few Z's. And G decides to comment on it, and she's not amused.
Neither was I. He's not entertaining.
No. And Karen, um, they put up the little words. I didn't catch them, but she was like, geez, she wasn't in agreement with what G was doing. And he was like a dog with a bone with her. Why are you arguing with a woman? I don't.
Yeah, and the other issue I have is Mia not stepping in and telling him to stop. That was another issue for me, and I think that's the bigger issue. Is like you
Mhm.
guys do to me, you're still mixed company. They don't know you, and they
Mhm.
sure don't know if they don't know you. They sure don't know your husband. And for you to allow him to keep commenting on other women, you need as the wife, you need to step in this and be like, this is not appropriate.
Well, I'm waiting until somebody attacks G and see what she have to say, because she's already laid her mom off the table. So you're gonna say don't go after my husband either? I mean, there's a difference between the situation with Wendy and Eddie and Mia and G. Eddie has not said anything to any of these ladies. Eddie was a rumor situation. So she's
Right,
defending her marriage. This now, G is poking these women. Not physically, but verbally poking these women and saying provocative um, things that make mixed company uncomfortable.
right. G is actively participating.
Mhm.
Eddie
Mhm.
is Eddie just was just passively okay. G is actively participating. Eddie is passively involved.
Mhm.
So that's
So
the huge difference.
Farmata says Mia should have at least saved her mother's story for a future season. What you think?
I agree. She should. I think your first season should be all about you.
Mhm.
All about
Mhm.
you. Then Then you bring in your family.
Yeah. I think it started off with Mia, and saying that she was in foster care, but she just continuously went down that rabbit hole, and
Correct.
the focus shifted from her and her childhood to her mother's life.
Right.
G does need a sedative. My God. Yeah, and I agree with you. Mia should have said something, and I feel she let that ball drop because I think she's so used to ignoring him.
Correct.
And yeah, so that was the end of the episode, y'all. Urgh. Did we miss anything, Jamal?
No, like I said, this was a complete nothing burger until like the last 15,
Hmm.
like 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay, so on to The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 2, Episode 6, Sex, Lies, and Sister Wives. Good Lord. We open up this episode with Whitney and Lisa going to do a silks activity at the
Ariel's.
local gym. Yeah. Um, I was shocked by this. Okay, so we went from sipping gin to now besties. What?
Yeah, I understand that. Like, cause when you're working out, doing aerials, especially that kind of workout with somebody, you're generally good friends with them. And I sound like, oh, this was quick. And
Mhm.
in my head, I'm like, is this gonna last long? And then we
No,
find out, no.
no. Even in the confessionals during the silks thing, you know, they were shading each other's stripper
Right.
names. Come on now. Okay, so next we go over to Mary's house, and Robert Senior is back, and he's making something. He's cooking up something,
Chicken.
chicken breast.
Chicken.
Mary comes in. Can't help but say I love her natural hair. I'm
Yes.
not lying. Love it. But Mary is just picking. And he looks like if these cameras went here, I would rinse you out right now.
Exactly.
They both look irritated with each other.
But the reason why is because they've been apart for like what 6 months to a year. So when you come back to living with someone, you're gonna be everything they do is gonna be irritating you because you had everything your way for an extended period of time.
See, I don't think that's it. Because Mary's like, look, when he first comes back, everything is good. But then he gets comfortable. And I want
Oh.
him gone again.
Mm.
She is going deep on this. She is complaining about variations of rice.
See, you know what? I will say this. I noticed that comment, and then now that you're bringing it up, I was like, maybe there's more. Maybe she's letting us know more than what is on what we see. Like, it's interesting because she was like, when she the rice, like he's making like long grain, and why does he know I like the short grain? And he was like, honey, here you go. She's like, where's the short grain? I'm like, oh, he irking your nerve. Like
It's
he's
not,
not paying
I
attention.
thought that was a metaphor.
It's attention.
It's not the rice.
No,
She hates him.
you think so?
Yes.
But
She
but
doesn't like him.
but let's fast forward to tennis real quick. She likes what she
Well,
has with her husband and her son.
when they're
Now,
together, because the son is the
correct.
buffer, and that's
Buffer. Okay.
not fair on the son.
Okay, I got you.
The only way you could tolerate your husband is with your kid. Think about that. Think about that. They're getting ready to be empty nesters.
Right. Oof. I got you.
That rice is a metaphor for so many different things. So next we see Lisa, Meredith, and Jenny going for pedicures, where the fish eat
The
the
fish.
dead skin off of your feet.
Right.
Jenny says that she's had it in Thailand, but the fish were piranha. They were so big. I was not gonna put my feet in like they're supposed to be little itty bitty fish.
Right.
Well, good luck with that. They seem to have fun doing it. And Jenny opens up about her whole history with regards to having children and how Dewey wants more. And So she's had 9 miscarriages, one stillbirth, or no, where the baby died 42,
42 weeks.
42 weeks. Okay. And then the 3 children that are here. Praise Jesus. Um, looks like Mary will spend more time in her closet. Yes.
Yes.
Um, Mary did say that she doesn't like Robert. Yeah. I think like I don't think they had the best foundation to start a marriage, but I feel like now that she realizes that her son is growing up, that she doesn't like being married to this person that I don't think she ever wanted to be married to in the first
Right.
place.
But do you think at this point now she's like, do you think while Robert Senior was away, she did a lot of reevaluating
Yeah, she said she was
of
talking to herself.
right? But I mean, like you know how Mary's kooky and stuff, but it sounds
Hmm.
like she's done a lot of serious evaluation, and she to me seems afraid to let go of her son because she likes them as a unit, and I think she's come to the understanding that once her son leaves, she has no reason to really stay married to Robert Senior. And I don't think I think she's understanding that, but I don't think she's ready for that particular change.
Here's my thing. I want to know. Okay, so she had to marry Robert Senior in order to get the grandma's
To get the money.
right. Oof, I didn't want to
He's
say
gonna
it
we
that crassly, but
well, it
yeah,
is what it
to get
is.
access to those funds. Um, I wonder if there is some sort of agreement that if she stays married for a certain amount of time, a part of it is broken off for her. Um, like, how much can she take with her if she were to leave? Because I would go a step further and say that her joining this show was part of her escape plan.
I can see
Uh-huh.
that.
Okay, so let's just head back to Jenny. Um, Jenny's personal story just hits so many people's heart. Yeah, it does. It does. And I do like Jenny. I think she brings a different perspective to this show. Um, and she also tells us, like, when she lost that baby, the one at 42 weeks, she gives us some background into their culture. So she gave birth. She was out, and when she woke up, she saw that her husband had shaved his head to mourn the passing of their child. So she missed everything. Whereas she gives her husband's perspective. He was there and he saw them trying to work on this child. Like, the child was
Mm-hmm.
good, it was born and everything was fine. And then something went wrong. And he was the one who told the medical team, it's been 15 minutes. She's not coming back. And he witnessed all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So all she did was wake up and saw the shaved head, and she knew what happened. And, he told her, I'm so sorry that I couldn't protect you. I was devastated. I was devastated.
I
I ain't
just
gonna
feel
lie.
so bad for her. I mean, like I teared up simply
Mm-hmm.
because having known a few women in my path that have gone through miscarriages and stuff, it's I always feel for them, especially when they go so long. And like it's with Jenny, she's just had so many, and they've been at varying stages. That's the part that kills me. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like they were all like within the first 3 months. They were like varying stages, like how, and that's so much trauma to go on with your body. I do not blame her at all.
Mm-hmm. Now, after hearing this, Meredith suggests that they go to counseling um, before this goes too far and they can't, reel it back in. And I thought that was like really good advice from Meredith, because that's a lot. after hearing that whole story, and then to realize that Dewey still wants her to have children, even though her tubes are tied. Because remember, after
Mhm.
her last baby, she got the tubes tied. She was done.
Yes.
Shop was closed. And Ablavi, we'll get to that question once we get through this episode. Um, Next, we see Jen and Stuart going to the jewelry store. She wants to get the ladies something to show them that she appreciates them. They were looking at snake rings. How dumb. Um, but then they decide on snowflake necklaces. Now, did they say that each necklace was $2,700 to $3,200 a
Hmm.
piece?
I thought he meant total.
No, because they were diamonds.
Okay. I was hoping he was saying total.
No.
Because here's my thing. I'm sorry. Like based on what we've known, what we've seen, it made me a little uncomfortable watching her talking about spending this money because I kept thinking about like all the people who she scammed.
But listen, you see, more people are agreeing with me, Jamal. Like, we need to see. Like, Ebony Dick says, I need Jen to get arrested already. We
After
want to
that,
see that.
yeah.
It has to be mid-season. It
After that,
has to
after
be.
watching after her watching her going there to spend this money, I'm like, yeah, she can get arrested now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Heather has a talk with her daughter.
Isn't Dewey a chiropractor?
Yes, but isn't that still a doctor?
Yes, but it's not. And
He know basic.
I've had this conversation like recently because I had questions.
Mhm.
Someone I know, I asked them. I said, is there a difference in mentality between like quote unquote medical doctors and specialty doctors like chiropractors, like orthopedic people, people of that nature. I'm like, they're doctors, but is there a different mentality? And the person said, well, you wouldn't think there would be, but there is. And the way it was explained to me, the reason is medical doctors are the ones who experience the loss.
Mhm.
They go through the losses. They see the losses they see the bad side of medicine.
Mhm.
So their thinking is more emotional versus like a chiropractor, physical therapist, someone in that realm. Typically, they're pretty much there to fix you, so they don't really see the
Mhm.
losses. So while they're both doctors, the emotional understanding trauma is a little different. And in Dewey's case, he's focused on what he wants and what they have planned for. So I believe, if I recall correctly, they have planned for 5 children.
Mhm.
And based on what life has given them, they have the 3. And this is just purely my opinion from what I've seen. Even though Jenny doesn't think he wants to replace the baby that passed because you can't, I think part of him feels like a failure that he couldn't save the daughter they lost. I mean, and Jenny on her end, like she said, I don't want to be made to feel like inadequate yet again.
Mhm. Mhm.
So they're both experiencing feelings of quote unquote inadequacy, but for different reasons.
Mhm.
Because he grew up in a large family. He said his granddad had 4 wives and they all got along. I'm like, excuse you, is this what we do? And then, well, this is when they're talking about the sister wives. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. And then Jenny says, like, I know in our culture it does happen. She's when we were in Vietnam, my dad had several girlfriends. I'm like, excuse you? And she's like, but do I want that for my life? No.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I
So,
got her.
mhm.
I completely understood I understood both sides of the
Yeah.
argument, but I side more with Jenny because It's her body. She can't have. She anatomically can't have more children. She doesn't
Mhm.
have the energy, and she's the one to do it. And I support
And
her
she's
in that.
high risk. Most importantly, she's high risk. If she
Yeah.
wasn't
Oh,
high
high
risk
risk is the
before,
word.
like it's almost, I hate to say this, but like, do you have a death wish for your wife? Seriously. And says here, chiropractors still had to go to medical school and do
Hmm.
psychology
Yeah.
and OBGYN rotations during their training. Yes.
Yes,
And
they
then
did, but it's
Ebony
more the
chimes
emotional
in.
standpoint is where I'm
Yeah,
taking where I come
Ryan in
from.
his confessional, he did admit that he knows all of that, but he still wants her to have a baby, which I think is selfish.
Selfish ain't even the
Um,
word.
Oh Lord, a Blavi. Black Girl Jen is on Black Women's Sunday on Bravo. Um, Jenna Jury, so she's trying to launder this money with gifts. Oh my God. Who's more clout chasing? Court, Travis, Meg. Er- okay, so Heather finally has to talk with Ashley. Um, I think she skimmed over a lot of it. I hope that was just for the camera and she had a real conversation with her once the cameras left. I didn't think that that was adequate, but okay. Because she guided you through that conversation, Heather. I ain't gonna lie. Um,
Mhm.
then we see the double date with Whitney and Justin go to dinner with Lisa and John. And it started off pretty good. And John says that it was Sharif's idea for them to get together. Then we, it's a very out of the way restaurant. And then the chefs come over, Marco and Aubrey, who happen to be the caterers for Angie's event, who canceled at the last minute. And Whitney is like, oh, no, you didn't. And so then Aubrey starts going in on not, what are you guys eating tonight? I'm so glad that you've come here. She starts rattling on about Angie's event. Really? So Whitney is like, you did this on purpose, Lisa. You are just trying to get them to say that this wasn't your fault.
Mhm.
I'm not here for it.
Yep.
So, and you could see poor Justin's face. He's just like, oh
And
my
John's.
God.
And John. John said
Mm-hmm.
like John's like damn.
It did seem kind of calculated though.
Yeah.
And then the chefs, they looked embarrassed. Like, if I was living in Salt Lake City, I wouldn't want nothing to do with your restaurant right about now.
No.
Sorry.
You running around dropping people because Lisa said so. Nope. Can't do it.
Mm-hmm. Um, let's see. How did that all end? Oh yeah, Whitney asked the best question. She asked Lisa, "Why would you bring us here?
Yep.
Why?
There's no
This
reason
just
to
doesn't make any sense."
because it's out of the way.
Oh, I loved it when Lisa said Whitney thinks that she's on CSI Salt Lake City. Justin admits that he thinks that trying to bring the wives together was a bad idea. Whitney cuts to the chase. She doesn't want to argue anymore. She cleans her aura and she says, how can we move on? And they decide to have shots. And Whitney
Oh,
is putting this behind and moving forward,
but you
but
caught
not
that
trusting
product
her.
right. You caught that product placement right.
Oh, the Vita.
She did
Yeah.
tequila. I'm like,
She's like, why would I do this? They carry my vodka.
right.
Shut up, girl.
Right. I'm like, really? Like, good
Mm-hmm.
product placement though. Obvious, but good product placement. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not mad at you. You're doing what you're supposed to do.
Okay. The husbands did look uncomfortable. Do you think it was? Yeah, I think it was a setup.
Yeah, because the
Mm-hmm.
restaurant, it's not like the restaurant was in downtown Salt Lake City. They said it was out of the way.
Mm-hmm. They almost got lost. The driver couldn't find it.
Right.
So then we see a segment with Coach. He's visiting the house. He's with their son Omar, training him or something like that. And Jen comes out. She wants to join something at the school, the PTA or something like that. And Omar doesn't want her there. Ciao.
Right. I did not like that scene. It was unnecessary. Jen wasn't needed. She added nothing. Yeah, she was just embarrassing all the way around.
Mm-hmm. Then we see Mary and Meredith meeting up to play tennis. Mary cannot play, but as Meredith says, she thinks she suggested tennis because she had a great outfit for it.
Right, and she wanted to wear it. That was
Mm-hmm.
hilarious. I'm like, you ain't lying though.
And yeah, and you mentioned before that this is where Mary said, she actually admitted that she would change her husband.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she would find it strange to be at home alone with just her husband.
Mhm.
Um, and then she flips it and she says she doesn't like change, meaning she doesn't want the son to leave.
Yeah.
Um, Jenny and her husband, they go cross country skiing, and this is a chance for them to connect as a couple. But then he ruins it by saying he wants to have more kids to replenish the earth. She says she doesn't
Yeah.
have the energy for more babies, and she just lays it out to him. And like you said, she doesn't want to be perceived as a failure in this. But we hear Dewey saying that March 15th is a hard day because that's the day that their baby girl died. And he throws out there, how about we just get a surrogate? She's like, who has the energy for a newborn? And he goes, well, okay, what about a sister wife? Wrong road. Because if you just heard your wife saying that she doesn't want to feel like a failure, bringing in another woman to do the job that she can't do is reinforcing that. Like, you have 3 kids. Why can't you enjoy those 3 kids? Why do you have a specific number in your head?
Right.
Is what you have not enough, Dewey? Jesus. Men. Sorry.
He's very he's very stubborn and stuck in his ways. Like what he wants is what he wants. I'm like, no, you have to think about your wife. I mean, I wouldn't want to have, to be honest, I wouldn't want to have kids just hearing what she's gone through.
Mm-hmm.
Like just hearing that alone would damage me.
Mm-hmm. And she has to like walk away because like she mentioned something like if murder was legal or something like that. Ooh, Jenny. Lord have mercy. Don't say those things on camera. But yeah, she has to walk away from him and he's calling her back and she's just like, let me be.
Right.
Let me be. My goodness. Well, guys, that was the episode. Did we miss anything, Jamal?
No, it was interesting. There was a lot in the episode, but it went by
Mm-hmm.
so quick.
Yeah, it did. So, guys, that was The Real Housewives of Potomac, season 6, episode 15, Lost at Sea, and The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, season 2, episode 6, Sex Lives and Sister
Ooh,
Wives.
episode 6.
Yeah, it was.
That means if we're on track, if we're right, Jen should be getting arrested within the next 2 episodes.
Let's hope so. I
Because
mean,
that would leave us with seasons with episodes 7 and 8, which means the midpoint. If it's having
mm-hmm,
season 7, that means we're getting 14 episodes. If it's episode 8, we're getting 16. I
mm-hmm,
can't see them doing 20 seasons,
mm,
20 episodes of this, and then
okay.
what they gonna and then there's gonna be like a 4-part reunion.
That's if she shows up.
Oh, she's
If
gonna
she
show up.
doesn't,
She's gonna show up because there's money involved.
okay. Ablavi says, "Do you think Megan King should be on the
Yep,
new
I do.
season of OC?" Well, she just got married to Biden's nephew.
Nephew, yeah.
Yeah. he lives in, I think he lives and works in LA. So I'm not sure. Remember the last couple that had to commute from LA to Orange County?
Rental.
Uh-huh.
Maybe they can have
Um,
rental in Gina's complex, and they can be neighbors. And remember,
I,
Fancy Pants is back, so
yeah,
it would be a nice.
it would be, but I don't know if she's at that place in her life right now.
Who?
Megan.
She's got the three children. She's got a new
Hmm.
husband. She can let loose and let have.
I don't know. I'd want to enjoy my husband first before coming on this. I would not want to be a newlywed.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, too
Yeah.
new.
And if he's not used to this, yeah. Would I like her back? Yes. But do I want to see her stay married? Yes. And remember, they
Well,
haven't been together that long.
yeah, but we could see with Jam that was a fail. We all saw that. We like Vicky called that mess too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, guys. Thanks for joining us today in the live chat. Hello to everybody in the replay crew. Please give us a thumbs up if you haven't already. We really do appreciate it. If you haven't, subscribe. What are you waiting for? Hit the notification bell for your alerts and tell a friend. Have them come and join us. Tomorrow we are doing I Love a Mama's Boy. It's so good. We're on the countdown for Kim going to Texas, so I'm just excited.
Exactly.
I'm just excited. And I watched it this morning. It's a pretty good episode. I
It's
was
pretty good.
pleased.
Okay.
Yeah, I was pleased. And tonight is Chantal, so I have to find time to watch that. So tomorrow, join us at 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. We'll go over I Love a Mama's Boy. So bring your toys. We're getting ready to get in the playpen with these little young men. All right, Jamal, any final thoughts today?
No, we're good. This was a really good episode of Salt Lake City. Like, I mean, what can you say? I was kind of irritated that I
Okay, I
actually
think
watched.
uh,
But I was
mhm.
mad. I watched Salt Lake City first because it just killed Potomac for me. Just like, I mean, Potomac just seemed like nothing. I'm like, really? Like,
Yeah, well, they're winding down their season, so
yeah, it's true. No, it's true. I was just like, oh, I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah, because we've got two more episodes for them, I think.
Right. So not too bad.
Hmm. All right, guys. So until next time, Jamal.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.